Well, let's begin with the news of Conservative Party MP Michael Mah crossing the floor over to the Liberals. Kate McKenna has been tracking this developing story for us from Ottawa. Kate, this story less than an hour old. What do we know at this point?
Well, this is a big Christmas gift for the Liberals and also a big lump of coal in Pierre Poilievre's stocking. So Michael Mah, he represents Markham Unionville, which is in the Greater Toronto area. A statement went out not long ago saying that he has informed the Speaker of the House and the Leader of the Opposition that he is changing sides from the Conservatives to the Liberals. He did kind of explain part of what his rationale and what his reasons were for doing that. In a statement, he said he was guided by values, and those values include building up others, delivering results, and choosing a path that creates opportunity that have guided him through his business or throughout his career in business and now as a member of Parliament. And then he sort of potentially took aim at the opposition leader, saying, "I entered public service to help people, to focus on solutions, not divisions. I look forward to working with Prime Minister Carney to make sure that Markham Unionville and all of Canada can move forward with confidence and build a stronger, safer, and more prosperous future." Now, this, of course, is not an incident that is entirely isolated. This is the third member of Pierre Poilievre's caucus that has announced that he plans on leaving or that he has left. Chris d'Entremont, a Nova Scotia MP, crossed the floor a few weeks ago. That same week, an Alberta MP, Matt Genereux, announced kind of abruptly that he was planning on leaving politics altogether. And now this announcement here today. And it's particularly notable because now it leaves the Liberal Party just one seat shy of having a razor-thin majority control of the House of Commons. That, of course, would be a game changer. And this is all happening, you know, as parliamentarians were preparing to go back to their home ridings. The House of Commons rose today. The Liberals are at their Christmas party, which we have to assume would be a more jubilant party than it would have been 2 hours ago. Our colleague Chris Rands is there, and he says so far reaction has been very positive to this floor crosser. And, you know, we haven't heard any official response from the Conservatives yet. We'll be watching for that. Pierre Poilievre this evening is at a fundraising event in the Toronto area. We, of course, have reached out to them. I haven't heard back yet, but this is certainly a blow to their caucus.
Yeah, you know, like you probably, I was watching David Cochrane and his reporters panel just, 20 minutes ago on Power and Politics, and they were all taken completely by surprise by this defection. I don't know if the Conservative Party saw it coming. I mean, if Poilievre does decide to talk to the media, what kind of questions do you think people are going to have for him?
Well, there's one thing that is looming in front of him, and that, of course, is a leadership review in January. That's coming up for him in Calgary. So, you know, if he is perceived, if his leadership is being perceived as part of the reason why Mark Carney ends up with the majority government when the Canadian public did not give that to him, that could cause some real problems for him. I'm speaking with Conservatives now. It's true that this name, Michael Mah, was not one that was floating around Ottawa in the first, during that week where Chris d'Entremont crossed the floor. But there were loud, sources were telling me that there was other dissent within the Conservative caucus. And I know from speaking to sources that there were efforts to quell that dissent, talk to people, make sure that they were happy. But back then there were conversations happening that there could be more people coming. Conservatives I'm speaking with now in the last 30 minutes are shocked by this. They are shocked that the party didn't get this under control. They are shocked by the name of the person who's come out, because as we heard on that reporters panel, this was not a name that was floating around as somebody who might potentially cross the floor. And it also comes at the same day of some new Angus Reid polling that specifically looked at Pierre Poilievre's leadership. And it found that there is still a majority of Conservatives that would like to see him at the helm of the party, but that majority is shrinking. It was 68% in August. Now it's down to 58%. This floor crossing is going to completely change the narrative over the next couple of weeks, and Pierre Poilievre will be facing questions about how this came to be. You know, he spoke with reporters a few hours ago, and there was no hint of this in his demeanor. He seemed quite confident. He was talking about, you know, what they feel they achieved during this House sitting. But this is a serious blow at a time when Pierre Poilievre is going to be looking to shore up as much support as he can going into this leadership review in January.
Really nice work on a story that, as I mentioned, just breaking in this last hour. Kate McKenna in Ottawa. Thank you. I feel like we now need to hear from a political scientist. And so we've reached out to Alex Marland. He's a political science professor at Acadia University, and he also recently wrote a book about party switching titled No I in Team, Party Loyalty in Canadian Politics. He joins us this evening from Halifax. So you know the numbers. A Conservative has resigned. Two others now have crossed the floor. What was your reaction when you heard the news about Michael Ma?
It was a shocker to me simply because there hadn't been talk about this particular MP, but the bigger thing is I immediately thought of Pierre Poilievre. Pierre Poilievre has entered a death spiral in Canadian politics when you have negative momentum occurring. If you look back from the start of the year right till now, it has not been a good year for him, notwithstanding that he got a lot of votes in the election. This is not good news for Pierre Poilievre.
Ma said that he made the decision after listening to his constituents in the riding. Conservative Chris D'Entremont in your province of Nova Scotia also left the Conservatives, saying that he didn't feel represented by Poilievre. What do you think all of this means for the Leader of the Opposition?
It's a real problem because it's just like one thing after another. So if we were given assurances that there was nobody else left, nobody else was going to leave, and the fact that this individual has left and nobody was anticipating it and it came as such a surprise makes you wonder how many more. And I guarantee you now that there is going to be even more interest in crossing the floor among the remaining Conservative MPs because they're going to look at it as a prize of putting the Liberals over the top into majority government territory. So the stakes have gone even higher. The interest in crossing the floor is going to be even greater than it was.
Yeah, well, this is something that you've studied, something that you've written about. And, you know, as you look at, and you know more about this than I do, as you look at the history of floor crossing, you know, you'll get one MP once in a while, and sometimes you wonder if it has to do more with their own personal relationship with the party or their fears of not being re-elected. To have two MPs cross and a third one saying they're going to leave the Conservative Party spread out over this period of time, bringing the Liberals so close to a majority, this feels like something unusual to me. But as the man who wrote the book on party loyalty, how do you feel about sort of the general movement that's afoot here?
Well, I co-authored it with two brilliant co-authors, but I will say that, you know, it's not unusual for people to want to join the governing party or maybe to join a party that is on the way up. But obviously there's some sort of sense going on within the Conservatives right now that they don't have positive momentum. And so as a result, people are reconsidering whether or not it's the right time to be with the Conservatives.
And let's talk about the Liberals for a moment. They are now one MP away as of right now. Who knows what's going to happen in the next few hours, but they are one MP away now from a bare majority. What's your sense as a political scientist of how this may affect the way that Mark Carney governs?
I think he's going to continue the way he is, but I think it's still worth pointing out that there are Liberals, Trudeau-era Liberals, who are not comfortable with Carney as in the direction that he's taken the party. So he has to be careful. He may be attracting Conservative MPs, but there may yet be some more movement. There's surely some Liberal MPs who are questioning whether or not they fit under the Carney vision of liberalism.
Alex, I just got word of a statement that Pierre Poilievre has posted on X, and so I'm going to read this for the first time. You'll hear it as well. Michael Ma was elected as a Conservative by the constituents of Markham Unionville to fight against Liberal inflationary spending driving up the cost of living in the community. Today, he chose to endorse the very policies he was elected to oppose, the same policies driving up food prices and making life more expensive for all. This statement posted on X by Pierre Poilievre. I'll continue reading it. The people he let down the most are the ones who elected him to fight for an affordable future. He'll have to answer to them. What do you make of that statement?
I actually think that that's pretty toned down compared to what we might anticipate. So what we don't have is a situation where with Chris D'Entremont, there was that big scene where he's walking into the caucus room with the Prime Minister. In this case, you have an MP putting out a statement when the House isn't open. There's no visuals accompanying it unless the Liberals are planning some tomorrow. There's no real shots taken at Pierre Poilievre. It's more about talking about the Prime Minister as a source of inspiration. And so if it just ends up being sort of a tit for tat or in words, that's very different than if we have a lot of images or if we have any outgoing MP taking a lot of shots at the leader they've just left.
Well, like all of us, you haven't had a lot of time to digest all of this, and I appreciate the very quick analysis. Political science professor at Acadia University, Alex Marland, in Halifax this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you.